Oh. My God, you guys are all looking at me. It's crazy. Okay, so today we're going to learn how to stop sucking at social media. So whether you're a DJ or you want to pursue this for your business or your workplace, all of what I'm talking about today will apply, but I've catered it to the music industry just because I know a lot of people are music industry professionals or are interested in joining. So before, does this work to turn or no?
Oh, no, it won't.
Okay. I'll just introduce myself a little bit for anyone who doesn't know. So first, we're gonna have our little presentation. It'll take about half an hour, and then we can go over some questions. And then I have some like skill testing, not tests, but little games to see if we learned anything. And then you guys can eat and chill and check out the space. Okay, so a little bit about me. Aside from DJing and online persona, I've been working in social media for about 6 years now. It's my primary job, it's my hobby, it's also my secondary job. I've worked in a number of different industries as a content creator, doing analytics. I've also worked doing photos, videos, so basically everything, all encompassing in a number of different industries. So in the music industry, specifically in Toronto, here are some of the brands, not to break my NDAs, but some brands that I've worked with either on behalf of posting their content, coming up with their social media strategy, being on site, shooting at events, and working with them as an influencer or content creator. And then on the side, on my own business and my professional life, which is my 9 to 5. If you're interested in checking out any of my other services, which I do offer for content creation services, copywriting, social media management, if any of you are interested in growing your own business, you need some help, you need consulting, I do all of that. You can check out my website. If anyone wants to take a photo of it. If you don't want to, you don't have to pretend to take a photo either, it's fine. I won't be mad. But you can also check out the other clients that I work with there as well that aren't electronic related, so if you have any other interests. Okay, so in my opinion and through my years of experience in social media, I think there are about 6 key pillars in every account that I've noticed that perform well. And today we're going to break down each pillar of growth. And without all the pillars, you're not going to be successful. Some are more important than others, and there's one that I think is the most important, which we talked a little bit about before this seminar, but we're going to break down each one, get into the nitty-gritty, and then if you have any questions about it, we can go through it. So the first 3. The first one is niche. If you're not familiar with the term niche, a niche is a specialized segment in a market that you are catering your advertising to. So if you are a company and you're looking to target a specific segment of customers, that would be the niche that you're targeting. When we use this term in social media, it refers to the type of content that you're posting. So it's an interchangeable word that has a few different meanings in the marketing world, but in social media, it just refers to what type of content you're specifically posting. Consistency is the second pillar. A lot of people struggle with posting consistently, so we're going to talk about that. Editing has a huge impact on whether your video or your content does well, which a lot of people don't consider, and bad editing can make or break your social media growth. The next 3 are authenticity, which is often overlooked. In the modern age, being authentic online is much more important than being super professional, super clean, and precise, depending on what business you're in, but generally consumers like to have a connection with the brand or the person that they're following, so they like authenticity online. Quality, which is exactly what it means, high quality videos, and community, which is something that is also often overlooked, connecting with your audience online once you've built up that audience. Okay, so first we're gonna break down niche. So as I mentioned, a niche is the subsection of content that you are posting in. So broad content categories that, let's say you want to make your own account and you're like, hey, I want to post in music. That's a very broad category. So when you're thinking of types of content that you can be posting in that category, that's gonna attract a wider range of different people, but it's not always gonna work to your benefit. So if you're like, my niche is music, well, are you country music, dubstep, are you drum and bass, are you electronic? You're not attracting the right groups of people. You're gonna be attracting random people all over, and that's not gonna work for growth. So the more generalized your category is, the less likely you are to build a consistent following that all have similar interests. But the content category is your first level of identifier. So when you're thinking about what you want to post, whether you're a brand or you're a music person, industry professional, your main category would be music, for example. Then you're going to move down to your niche. Your niche is more specific. So it's the type of customer within that segment of music that you're trying to attract. So within music, let's say, for example, me, I produce dubstep, bass, I like techno, and I DJ. So I'm targeting people who like that type of stuff, but also engage with that stuff online, who would potentially go to my shows, who would support me, pay for my shows, listen to my music. So I want to post content that would fall under something that would relate to them when they're looking online. So the niche for me specifically would be electronic music broken down into dubstep, the bass scene, posting only content that caters to that. So for example, if you are a genius whiz at music production and you want to make money off of sharing tutorials online, you need to be posting content that falls into that niche. So let's say you post 10 videos, music production, then you're like, hey, I'm going snowboarding for a week. Let me post about snowboarding. It's cool to you, but realistically your audience is gonna be like, why? Why are you posting snowboarding? I don't care. And some people will either unfollow, you'll maybe gain a new follower who's a snowboarder, but now you have two different groups of people who aren't connected and it's diluting your main message. So defining your niche too narrowly is when you define your niche too specifically, which can also limit your growth. At the beginning, when you're starting out and you don't have that many followers, it can be helpful to be very specific in your content so that people know when they come to your page, they're getting XYZ. But as you grow, let's say you're building your following and you specifically post, for example, tear out dubstep music production tutorials. That limits the amount of content that you can post and you're gonna burn out. Eventually you run out of ideas or you'll find that you're repeating the same tutorials and it gets a bit stiff and boring. People also want to grow with you as a person, as a creator, as an artist. So defining it too narrowly is going to limit the reach that you have across the world. If you define it too wide, which is like what we mentioned up here, if you say my niche is music, you're attracting people from all over the place, which is too broad. So what's going to happen, like I said, is one day you're posting a video in this category, you get 10 followers from that video, but you're losing 10 followers from the other category because they're like, what's going on over here? Same thing, vice versa. You post 10 videos in this category and then you're losing followers on this side. Next, consistency, which is a very hard thing for many people to do online, but it's really the most important pillar, in my opinion, consistency. Showing up for your audience, whether it's a good video, an okay video, maybe skip posting the very bad video, but if you're not there for their audience, how can they rely on you? People want to go online and see a familiar face and get comfort from knowing this creator or this podcast or this business is there for me. I go on my phone to escape, release, laugh. If you're all over the place, it's not going to work well for you. Which I also want to mention, if you want to grow in your social media, you have to really enjoy doing it. It can be hard, but you have to find the type of content that makes you excited to make it. If you feel like you're putting on an act or you feel like you're following a trend, you're not doing the right thing. Whew, I'm like out of breath. Okay, so do you need to post every day? A lot of people get stuck in the cycle of feeling like they need to post every day. I don't post every day. Sometimes I'm like, nah bro. Sporadic posting is the worst type of posting though, however. So this means you're posting a couple times a week and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I have no ideas. I have nothing going on in my brain. I don't feel like it. 3 weeks, you are gone. Your audience is confused because people need a consistent reminder of you on their phone. If you're not there to remind them, they're gonna forget about you. Your audience is gonna lose that retention. So when you do post again, they're gonna be less likely to engage because they're like, okay, I forget about this guy. He's not really on my page. So a lot of people have this where they have this creative funk and they don't post a lot, but then a month later they have a lot of good video ideas, but because it's so irregular, your followers are not gonna see that consistency and they're not gonna be like, this is my favorite content creator, this is my favorite DJ, I love their content. High volume. It's very hard to post every single day, 7 stories a day, 7 videos a week. That is crazy. Some people do it, but most people have made it their full-time job. For me, I work in social media in the daytime, my 9 to 5, so it kind of helps me to do the content. But high volume is good for testing. So when you're starting out, I definitely recommend posting in higher volumes so you can learn. It's like beta testing. You can see what type of content does well, what doesn't, what is your audience attracted to, what times are bad to post, what hashtags did nothing for you, what trends were effective versus not, what posts gained you more followers, et cetera, et cetera. So the more often you post when you're starting out, the more likely you are to have that information to make decisions moving forward later. The downside of posting very often is, especially if you're limited on time, is you might lower your quality and you might not be producing your best content. So you might not have the most reflective information on what your best effort forward is, but it's good for testing it that way. Low volume content allows you to maintain your schedule so that it works for you, posting at a schedule and time rate that you're comfortable with. It allows for more attention to detail. You can take your time making the content, make sure it's higher quality, but there's less opportunities to see what does well, what doesn't well, what did my audience like and not like. And also, again, like I mentioned, you're less consistent with them, so they're gonna forget about you. Editing, which is my favorite thing. Editing a video can really show your personality. It's not about what type of content you make specifically, because one person's how to perform a double DJing could be completely different from another person's version of that video. It's how you edit, it's how you speak to the camera, it's how you engage. You can be funny, you can be very serious and specific, you can have fast-paced content. The time for longer, slower-paced content, however, has cycled out because the average attention span in our social media studies that we conduct in my workplace and other workplaces I've worked in, we found that before the average attention span when you're scrolling on TikTok and Instagram was you have 3 seconds to get somebody's attention so they stay on your video. Now it's 1 second. You have 1 second for someone to decide, I'm done, because there is an influx of content every single day. If your video has anything that could make it a barrier for them to watch, if your video is poorly edited, if you're too slow to get to the point, they're gone. You've lost the potential for a follower and engagement. So editing style, although some people can have slower edited videos in this day and age, faster, quick, cuts, jump scenes work a lot better than having slow, drawn out videos. And keeping things simple. So when I say that people will click off of your videos, if your text is like this thick, I'm sorry, I'm not reading that, gone. If your text is hard to see, not reading that, I'm gone. If the audio is muffled or I can't tell what you're saying, gone, I'm clicking off. If the text is great, but it's a little bit out of frame, so it cuts off, like on an Instagram reel, it cuts off at the bottom, gone, I'm not watching it. If you start your video and you're like, hi guys, welcome back, gone, I don't know what the video's about, gone. So you need to get right to the point right away. So I filmed this video today, and I want you guys to tell me what's wrong with it, if you can see. Will the sound play?
Try it there. Oh, it's probably on mute.
What you guys are up to
Okay, wait, I'll do it again.
lately. Hey guys, been a while. I wanted to check in to see what you guys are up to. Lately, I've been working on music. It's going well. new song is coming out in a bit. Thanks, bye.
Can anyone tell me what was wrong with that video?
Well, I think first and foremost it was kind of boring and was a little bit more monotonous kind of voice, not super engaging and exciting, and it was more like K-bye kind of.
Yeah. Anything else?
You lost in that 1 second.
Did I? Damn.
The high.
A lot of ums in there.
Yeah,
And also the light behind you is extremely
Yes.
distracting.
Yes, I didn't mention that because that goes more into quality, but having good lighting is super important for videos. You don't need to have a big setup or anything. You just have to have decent lighting. That's really annoying. It's blinding you in the face, and I'm like backlit, so you can't really see my face. It looks horrible. Another thing for this video, if I was gonna post this on Reels, it doesn't have text. So for people who are hearing impaired, that poses an issue. You lost a small percentage of your audience. For people who maybe can't follow my English as well, having the text is helpful for other language speakers who are just learning English. And it helps if you put it in very simple terms. You're speaking very simple words. I'm not using complex language. The lighting is bad. The ums are bad. With a few minutes of editing, I could have cut out all the filler words, and I also could have got right to the point. Another thing about this video, which I hate, is that I felt the need to introduce myself. Hey guys, how's it going? Those are like old YouTube days. Those are done. You should assume nobody on the internet knows who you are. So saying, hey guys, I don't care. I don't know who you are. Why? You're on my feed. I don't need to know. You don't need to know how I'm doing. Give me what I want, which is the video. I need to know what I'm here for in the first second. So that video was horrible, so I would not post that. Authenticity, which is hard for a lot of people, but let's get into it. Does authenticity matter? So in the older days of marketing, things were highly perfected, crafted, everything went through several drafts. People work very hard to make sure everything is super perfect, scripted, and proper. Nowadays, Gen Z holds a lot of weight in purchasing decisions in the home, including their impact on Gen X and baby boomers. So their influence heavily factors into people's purchase decision, which also relates to the connections in social media. People want to follow brands, people want to follow content creators who are authentic, vulnerable, and relatable. They don't want to follow people who are very stiff and like, this is my song, like it, like you're very professional, it's out online. People go online because they want to be comfortable, they want to feel like they're connecting with a friend through the internet, they want to feel like they're in the conversation with you, they want to laugh, they want to cry, whatever it may be, they want to connect. So if you are putting up a shield when you're filming yourself or in your content, people will notice that now, and it doesn't translate well through the phone. Assume the phone is already a barrier to you connecting with the person, but if you put up another barrier on just having a fake personality or not showing up as who you really are, people will notice that and they won't connect with you. And I put up some stats, so if anyone want to look at the stats. So what does this mean for your content? Similarly to how we dissected the last video, cut the bullshit, cut the fluff. You don't need to spend all this time crafting the perfect words and making sure your content is proper, professional looking. Like, just be yourself. If you slip up, if you mess up, fine. Do a few takes, especially if you're filming yourself, you know, get the right word, simplify the language, but also have your personality in it. Specifically, if you are creating content, you're a DJ in the music industry, even as brands who use influencers, they want that personality to be on the forefront with the product like in the back. So it's like, hey, here's my awesome, amazing video. I'm so funny and cool. Buy my thing. That's like the background. You want to be serving your audience first before you're promoting whatever it is you need to promote. A lot of DJs specifically will do this kind of showboat thing, like, here's my last show. It's just 8 photos of them. I have a few photos like that, so I will not lie. Like, you know, sometimes you got to promote yourself, but if that's your whole feed, it's just, here's all my highlight reel unrelated to you, that doesn't interest people unless you're the biggest artist ever. You have to relate everything to the person on the other side of the phone. So being your authentic self, posting as yourself, that doesn't mean you have to spill your whole beans to the internet. I have things that I keep private from the internet. For example, like dating life, I don't talk about that too much on the internet, or work, I don't talk about work at all on the internet. You never know who's watching, there's creepy people, I don't know. But being your authentic self and having your personality show through is very important, and that's how you'll get the right people to attract you. Because I know when I post online, not everyone is gonna relate to my sarcastic, dry humor kind of vibe, and that's okay, I don't need them to. Quality. So this gets a lot of people hung up, and a lot of people will avoid posting at all because they think, I don't have the max iPhone, I don't have the best camera equipment, my lighting, I don't have 8 lights streaming at me. Doesn't matter. I film half my videos in my room on my iPhone 12, so it really doesn't matter that much. The only thing you need to worry about for the quality of your content is that you have decent lighting, meaning you're not in the dark, you're not covered by anything. The background isn't super distracting if you're filming yourself, or if you're filming a product, for example. It's not like all messy looking with stains on the table, anything like that. You want the message to be very clear, like I mentioned, having clear, concise language, captions clean on the screen. If it's very messy, or if it blocks half the video, it's annoying, people will click off. And the audio as well, you want it to be clear, crisp, and easy to follow. So that's probably the easiest part about making video content specifically, is just cleaning it up a little bit. And having good lighting. Community, another overlooked thing. Social media is about connection. Like I said, people go online because they want to connect to others. Maybe they don't have the opportunities in their day-to-day life to connect with other people, or they don't feel as able or willing to be vulnerable in the real world as they do online. So building that connection with your audience is not about posting and then dipping off the internet. You need to react, respond, and engage with people who support you. There are people who will message me every single day. I get 10 reels a day from the same guy. I like all of them. And I'm like, this guy has a lot of time to be sending me these reels. I have no idea who this guy is. I get a couple people like that, but I still like them, and I make sure I have enough time to connect with them, because maybe they don't have friends or whatever at home. So that makes them feel a little bit better, and they engage with my content, so it's a win-win. So commenting, engaging, reply, support those who support you. That's really important. You'll notice early on starting out, especially for the folks who are in the music industry, you'll have people who will come to your shows at your opener slot, or you'll have people who you don't know, but they'll comment under your photos and videos being like, hey, yo, this is really sick, and they'll consistently do it. Make sure you're engaging back. Another helpful tip when you're trying to build the following is look for other people who are in your niche. So building that community like we do here at Sleepless, looking for other DJs, looking for other content creators, whether they're in your city or online, connecting with their videos, because if you leave a comment on their video, they're gonna leave one on yours. It's like creator guilt. We feel guilty if we don't comment back on someone's video, so they will 100% do it. So make sure that you're taking a little bit of your time, maybe 10 minutes a day, to go through your feed, see who you follow, engage if they're in your same ball field. If you're at the same follower amount, the same level of success, maybe in your music career, make sure you're engaging, because then you have a new follower and potentially new friend, and you could collaborate in the future. And the last thing that is very important, it goes into the humbleness and being vulnerable online, is just assume nobody gives a single F about you. You are not important. You are a person on the phone. Even if you're the biggest artist, nobody really cares about you that much. Your content should somehow connect to them. If it's just showboating, look at me, look at this cool stuff I did, you're missing that connection element. So make sure, the bigger you grow, the better your music is. Don't have an ego about it. Just know at any time you can be checked. And everyone who is supporting you online is your friend. Anyone who's engaging with your content is your friend. Just assume they're your friend rather than they're your fan, because that's how you'll keep them. If you start to act like, oh, they're just liking my stuff, I'm gonna ignore it, you're gonna slowly lose that person over time, which I have seen a lot too. So I put up 2 examples here of something that would be a better response. So user 1 says, oh my God, I love this, you're the best, and you reply, thanks. It's dry, it doesn't offer any additional comments. They're like, okay, cool, whatever, you like the comment. The alternative reply is, oh my God, you're so sweet, thanks for the support, where are you tuning in from? That's just something simple to make your comment section a little bit longer. And I do this a lot on my videos. If someone comments even like an emoji, I'll be like, haha, so glad you enjoyed this video. What about it did you like? It helps you grow as a creator. You get advice and tips back, but it also expands your comment section. So I have a lot of videos that are just like funny one-offs, and people will comment about how it's relatable. I'll be like, oh my God, tell me the story. Like, I need to know what happened. It just builds your comment section. Sometimes people will just comment, they won't follow, but because you've engaged so thoroughly with them, they're like, yeah, fuck it, I'll follow. Okay, developing a content strategy. You can freeball it and throw content in the wind and figure it out. Sometimes I do that too myself. Or you can have a content strategy. It's really up to you. A lot of people work full time. This is like a side thing, doing the social media, or if you're just trying to build your presence for, you know, a side business or your other brands not related to music. It can be a lot to sit down and think of a video, film a video, edit a video. So there are strategies that I specifically use, or just tools to make things better. So the first one is creating content pillars. If you're really stuck on content ideas and you have a few good video ideas and you're like, well, I don't have any more, creating that niche, defining what your niche is, and then creating content pillars or buckets, which are subcategories of things that you would post for that account. So I'll use myself as an example again. So if my niche is I'm all about dubstep and bass music, content pillars for that could be music production. Another pillar could be music festivals, rave events, so that's different, separate from the music festival section. I really like mosh pits, so that could be its own thing, like connecting with that type of bro step vibe. Dating in the rave scene, that's something I talk about a lot. But so those are examples of content pillars. So you can create as many as you want, but if you're ever struggling to come up with a video idea, just look back at your pillars and think, what can I do that would hit one of my needs to serve my audience? Because these pillars are what serve your audience. Sometimes you'll have a stray video or a photo that doesn't really align with any of those pillars, and that's fine. It can also connect with your audience in other ways. Like I'll have one-off videos. I like to snowboard, so I had a snowboard post. It's just random, but like it shows your audience a little bit something else about you. But if I'm now transitioning and posting all about snowboarding, it's like throwing them off. So just one-offs here and there. But generally you want to stick to your content pillars. And having backloads, which is super important, especially for people who are more sporadic in their posting. You want to have enough content ahead of time, backloaded before you start a launch. So for example, if you just finished a song, it's fully mastered, you're ready to share it, post it, but you have not filmed your promo yet, pump the brakes, film at least a couple weeks of promo, have it edited and ready to go, because you never know what's going to happen in your life. You never know if you're gonna get busy, or let's say the weather's really good, you wanna go out now and oh shoot, I have to edit all this video. I have to edit all this content. So I have a song coming out, make sure you have enough supporting material so that your launch doesn't go unnoticed. Because I'll see a lot of DJs do this, they finish their song, they post the art that they made themselves, go listen to my new song, that's it. Then they're mad. Oh, why am I not growing on social media? Why is nobody listening to my music? Because you didn't make anyone aware about your music. We had the question earlier about if you post a lot, will people get annoyed? But you have to think about it in the perspective of someone else's life. As I said, you're not important. In someone else's life, you are like this small on their phone. They're seeing you for 15 seconds a day, every few days. So if you have a song and you're like, I've been posting about it every single day, couple hours every single day, people are getting annoyed. I should stop. They don't care about you. They're not keeping up with your day-to-day life. They're not listening to your song over and over and over, getting annoyed with it. You are projecting that you're annoyed of your content. Nobody else is annoyed because they might be seeing it only once. Maybe someone was like, I'm not gonna go on my phone this week. I'm only gonna go on my phone Saturday. They only saw it once. Maybe the algorithm didn't show them all your content, so they're seeing it once or twice. Your regular followers who are big fans and are watching your stuff every single day are gonna love it because they're like, yeah, I love this song. It gives me a reminder to watch it. Let's say you released your song on Friday. Someone was busy on Friday. so they couldn't listen to the song. You remind them again on Sunday, they're like, oh, now I remember to go listen to the song. So post as much as you want, flush it down people's throats. It's your page, you should promote your stuff. Tools. I don't really use that many tools anymore, but there are definitely tools available. I can, if we want to make a chat later or anything, I could literally drop links and links and links of tools. If you need help with writing your captions, we were talking also about AI. I mean, if you want AI captions now, that works. But if you have a big backload of content, and let's say you're not always on your phone and you don't want to be staring at your phone, there are free platforms that you can use where you can load in your files with the caption, connect it to your Instagram, your TikTok, Twitter, and it will schedule the post for you. So you don't even have to be on your phone to do it. It does it for you, and you can see all the analytics like you can on the app, but there are awesome scheduling platforms. So if you want to free your hands of it, you don't want to do it on the weekend, it will do it for you, as long as you have the backload. Okay, those are the 6 pillars. That's everything you need to be successful. I think the number one thing is consistency. Whether your content is super amazing or it's not refined and you're still improving, you only get better by doing something more. So it's not about talent. It's not about, being naturally good at it. And I could show you one of my old videos if you were curious how horrible and bad it was when I first started, which was years and years and years ago. It was the worst video. It was literally like that video I showed you, but 10 times worse. It was just really bad. I have a bunch of videos like that. They're private now on my YouTube, but that's where you start. So the more often you do something, the better you'll get at it.